on there.
Get on up.
Everybody right there.
Get into it.
Everybody right there.
Get involved.
Everybody just come on now. Come on now. Come on.
So GroOperative is going to be a new industrial manufacturing facility that will produce fruits, vegetables, mushrooms, beer, and fish. And we're going to do that in a system where the waste from one product goes to fuel the next. And this business will be different because it is a worker-owned cooperative where each worker will own the business equally. They'll share the profits equally, and they'll democratically vote on the direction and anything that has to happen with the business.
And the idea is that people are participating. So most often when you have a living situation, the landlord is in control of a lot of aspects of living, whereas cooperative living, the people who are living there make decisions together about rent, about payments, about maintenance. When you have a cooperative grocery store, the people who shop there get to say what kind of products they'd like to see on the shelves. And so for a worker-owner cooperative, the workers themselves get to take part in the decision-making process for how the company is to be run, what's going to happen with the patronage dividends or the profits from sales, and it's a collective process.
That I think makes it stand out is that when you work in a factory, you work in an industrial location, you generally have an hourly wage. So what's your incentive? To get more hours, right? Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to work slower, and you're going to make the business kind of suffer. So if you're a worker-owner in a company, you guys all own it equally. So if you don't work hard, you're not making a lot of money. Business 101, it actually makes the most sense out of any kind of situation. I had been thinking about this idea for about a year or so before I went public with it and tried to get more help. And the premise is we'd like to create more jobs in Buffalo. That seems to be one of the worst problems that we have here is joblessness. And we want to do it in a way that the workers can benefit the most from having a great career, as well as building a business that's environmentally sustainable. So we'll be producing things that people need like fish, beer, food, and we'll be doing it in a way that you could have it fresh and local year-round. So just think about going to buy some fresh fruits and vegetables in the middle of January from your local producer. That'll be us. And we want to do this in a way that is also community-based. We want to make sure that the community is involved in which that our business is going to be located, and we want to make sure that they have a say in what we're going to do with the land around them, with the prices of the products and so on and so forth, because very much so not just being the workers having a big say in this, but the community at large that we're going to be selling to and that we're going to be influencing through having this business.
Yeah, there's I guess I would call it a factory, a system in Chicago called the plant. It's also a very complex, large project that's been evolving over the course of a number of years. That's kind of where the idea came from. They had a system that included a brewery where the waste grains would go to feed the fish and possibly other animals. The heat from the brewery could be recaptured and used to heat other sections of a building, things of that nature. And they had a fairly complex diagram. They tried to boil down a very complex process into a diagram that's easier to understand, and it does a fair job of explaining how the different pieces are linked together. And I think when thinking about jobs and what it's like in the workplace, for most people, we thought having a democratic workplace, having worker ownership was a really important factor.
There's also a big part of the initiative that hopefully can have more things to come as we do it. So we're building an anaerobic digester to power the place, which those who don't know that name, it's a big silo on its side. It's a big tank that you put compostable materials into, like lawn clippings or your salad scraps. And what it does is there's little microbes in there that eat all that stuff and they turn into methane. We capture the methane, and then we use that to power our plant with electricity and heat. So what we'll be doing is taking upwards from 15 to 20 tons of waste that would be put in the landfill a day and using it to create energy. And what we'd like to see happen is once this system gets running, we'd like to double it in size and then use it as kind of a show showpiece saying that, hey, look, this can happen. You don't have to only derive your energy from the coal or fracking or whatever it is. We can actually just take the waste that we already have that we're putting in a big pile and turn it into the energy that we need so badly. We hope to have it be very close to that. So there's a few aspects that we'll have to outsource, but we would only outsource them from local people, such as the grains that we'll need for the brewery. We can't produce that inside, so we'll take that from a local farmer, keep them running, as well as hopefully that, we could give them back whatever we can't use for newer or something like that. We'd like to have a system where if we're taking, we're giving. So there's a few things that we'll be taking outside of our system, but I think upwards from 80 to 90% will be a closed loop system where each part of the system's waste will go to fuel the next. We're looking for people that have background experience in aquaponics specifically, and or even just a fishery specialist.
Okay, can you break down a little bit what's aquaponics?
Okay, so aquaponics, like Henry was explaining before, is a system where you have a big reservoir of water and you grow fish in there. Now the fish breathe and they release a waste product that we use to turn into nitrogen that all plants need. So that's our nitrogen source, and the water that goes into the tank of the fish then flows through these trays where all the plants are. So it feeds the trays of plants, and then the plants clean it and give the fish back clean water. So it's a system that cycles and kind of feeds itself.
Okay.
So what we need is someone who has hydroponics and or aquaponics experience, because we can only go so far with what we have. I mean, we can read up and get a lot of info, but the real-time experience is kind of what we'd like to have. As well as we need bunches of people just to do many different tasks. There's so many aspects to running a large business like this, especially this kind of business where there's so many moving parts. We would need lots of people from different backgrounds, be it business or financial or any aspect of what you would think when you're running a business. And the way you could contact us is if you go to GroOperative.com is our website, and you can also contact us at GroOperative@gmail.com. It's GROOPERTIVE.
Great.
Everybody over there.
Get on up,
Everybody right there.
get into it,
Everybody right there.
get involved.
Everybody just